Pleasing destruction with radio-friendly charisma. That is how I would describe Anthrax's latest album, For All Kings, which was released recently, February the 26th of 2016. It's been about 5 years since their last album, Worship Music, which was released in 2011. Definitely, if you look at it in comparison to this album, this one is more radio-friendly. For All Kings definitely does feature some classical Anthrax tunes, but mixed in with some radio-friendly perseverance, I can't say that word, sorry. But this is a blend that is very well known for Anthrax. You know, it goes very well with Anthrax, and Anthrax over the years have been pretty radio-friendly in terms of, you know, the fact that they are a thrash rock band, you know. Thrash isn't very radio-friendly, but they make it radio-friendly, especially in this album, which has its downsides and upsides. It's also the band's first album featuring their newest guitarist, John Dones, replacing Rob Caggiano. Alright, so let's start off with looking at the songs that are in the album. Okay, so For All Kings, it's got really thoughtful message to it, as well as Scott Ian has said previously that it's about taking control of yourself. So not taking control of others, but taking control of just who you are. You are the king of yourself. Breathing Lightning. It's actually inspired by a Stephen King's book series, The Dark Tower. The song that is like my favorite on all of the album is Evil Twin. I absolutely love Evil Twin. It is such a good song. First of all, instrumentally, it has a really good thrash rhythm to it. Like, you know what you're listening to is thrash. And you want that when you're listening to Anthrax, because they're a thrash band, and that's how they should be. It is an absolute work of art, this song, honestly. It's just, you know, you can see it in the choice of vocals. You know, Joey Belladonna's vocals in this song are just beautiful. You know, they go high and then they go low. And this change of, you know, vocal, it just represents this whole sense of the song. You know, the evil twin, the fact that there's a split personality to the song, and all these artistic choices that are implemented into the song just give the song more life. You know, they give the song more of a body, more of a persona. And in context of the song, it's very interesting what it's about. It's about the 2015 attacks. You know, all these attacks on religion, belief that have been going on recently. Specifically the Charlie Hebdo attacks. And the way that humans take such radical choices and harm others due to these radical choices. And they try to implement these radical choices on others. So this type of evil mindset that humanity has kind of represents this evil twin of humanity, you know what I mean? You know, the fact that people just in an instant go blam and just completely destroy others, you know, is kind of like an evil twin of humanity. Blood Eagle Wings pretty much stands out in the album, mostly because it's 8 minutes long, as opposed to all the other songs that aren't 8 minutes long. It's about how much blood has been spilled building cities, great cities, huge cities like Rome, New York, Paris, London. Some people have criticized the band for not being what they used to be, and that's pretty agreeable to an extent though, because the album and the songs do get quite tedious at times, except for Evil Twin. That song a lot. But, you know, it does get tedious sometimes and perhaps even predictable. However, you know, it is pretty agreeable that some of the songs of the album are boring because maybe the instrumentals need to spice up a little bit more, you know. However, it is very notable that Joey Belladonna has not changed. He's the exact same. His vocals are as strong as steel. They are the same as they used to be. I do agree a lot that it's not the same stuff like in their earlier albums, such as Spreading Disease and Among the Living, where, you know, you could see, you know, you can really see the real classical, the Anthrax we all fell in love with from the beginning. However, you can definitely see the band is evolving into something else, you know what I mean? I mean, it's still Anthrax, because they do have that, you know, typical Anthrax stuff in it, so you can't deny that. Because they are a radio-friendly band, perhaps they're evolving into what is radio-friendly nowadays amongst rock fans. If you look at the radio-friendliness of, say, the late 1980s, which is around the same time their first album, Spreading the Disease, was released. You know, that radio friendliness of back then was different from nowadays, and so I would definitely give them a 4 out of 5 for this album. I would have liked them to bring more of their classical Anthrax thrashy tunes into For All Kings. More of it, you know? Not a lot of it, just a little bit more, because a little bit more would have made it more of a refreshing type of album. More like what Slayer did in their latest album. You know, it wasn't the Slayer that we knew from the very first time they did their first album, but it was a more mature, you know, aged, but really like still themselves type of Slayer, right? And I would have liked to see that a lot with Anthrax. The Guardian also gave them a 4 out of 5, and they described it as crowd-pleasing destruction. Metal Injection gave them a 9 out of 10. Infrared Magazine gave them a 5 out of 5, and they described it as a seriously heavy and astonishingly good record. I feel like if they would have brought in more of the classical Anthrax stuff that we really enjoy as Anthrax fans, it would have been a much better album, honestly. I mean, you can see that in Evil Twin. Sorry I'm being a bit biased about that song, I just really enjoy that song, because it's just like really relevant. But, you know, if they would have just brought more of that in, you know, like they did in Evil Twin, where you can hear a lot of like, you know, influences from their earlier albums like Spreading the Disease or Among the Living. If they would have done that with all the songs on the album, I would have been like, wow, okay. So that's the end of the video. Please do tell me what your thoughts are on it. You know, do you think they should have brought in more of the classical Anthrax stuff? Or do you think, you know, it's actually a really good record? Leave it alone, Claudia. What are you doing? Completely dissecting it like that. No, how dare you? Share and subscribe and just stay tuned for more cool stuff. Rock on.